Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, surely my prayer and my sacrifice and my life and my dying are only for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No partner for him, and that is what I am commanded first among those who submit to the commands of Allah. Today is the 7th of Muharram al-Haram, and this Monday, after 3 days from now, that will be Ashura. And Ashura is very well known day in Muslim Ummah. And Ashura had so many things happen. Like Prophet Adam alayhi salam was forgiven, like Prophet Noah alayhi salam was saved from his people through an ark, through a ship. Like Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was saved from the fire when the king thrown him in the fire. And like the Prophet Musa alayhi salam, he was saved and his people saved from pharaoh. They crossed the Red Sea by the miracle. And many other things happened during this day. Like Prophet Jonah Yunus, he was saved from the outfish, from the whale. And then Prophet Muhammad used to fast on that day for showing the gratitude to Allah. And for us, it has a very big occasion, fasting it becomes. So fasting on that day of Ashura, it becomes more prominent, it's more valuable, much more valuable than the past on the history. That because the family of the Prophet Muhammad was martyred on that day. Not just his grandson Hussein was martyred, all the family, the male members of the Prophet's family were shaheed or martyred, killed in the way of Allah. Except the one of the son of grandson of Prophet Muhammad, the Hussein, his son, Zainul Abidin Ali, he was not killed because he was not able to join the war because of his sickness. The Ali his name, but Zainul Abidin, the laqab, the nickname. And all the female member of the Prophet's family were captured, captive, and brought from Karbala to Sham in Syria. From Iraq going to Syria, 1,600 kilometers they walked with chained, and even their veil were removed by the tyrant, king and his army. The king that time was Yazid. His father who abolished the Khilafah and started the kingdom, and he continued the monarchy, that he give his rule to his son. The story happened is like this. When the Prophet Muhammad died, then the Abu Bakr became Khalifa, there was no problem. Then Umar became Khalifa, there was no problem. When Usman became Khalifa, there was no problem. In Islam, there is no monarchy. So after Prophet Muhammad, the ruler not become through the blood lineage. If there was such thing, then Ali was supposed to be Khalifa, because there is no ruling through the lineage of blood, but it is the selection of the Muslim Ummah. But when the Ali became Khalifa, the people who killed Osman, they were killed Osman, and then the Muawiyah, he make the reason that he don't want to place to Ali Caliphate, but he want the revenge from those people. And Ali said, no, you should make bay'ah, made me a Khalif, accept me a Khalif, then I will look for those who killed Osman. So Muawiyah, he make the false reason not to bay'ah to Ali, and then the conflict goes on until Ali waged a war against Muawiyah and his people in Syria, in Sham. And when Ali was about to win the war, the Muawiyah surrendered, his people surrendered, his army surrendered, and they wanted to make the judgment with the Quran. While they were doing this judgment with the Quran, Ali was people who were some of the extremists in the army of Ali. They said, why you stop the war? You should finish Muawiyah. He said, no, they want to make judgment with Quran, so I cannot kill them because they are Muslim brothers. So they attacked in the masjid, Ibn Mulzim, and then he killed with the war of the sword in the head of Ali, and Ali was martyred on 21st of Ramadan. And now people cannot just make his son Hassan to be Khalifa by the lineage. No, same thing. Best person who is eligible to be ruled, he will be going to be selected. So people, Muslims selected Hassan to be Caliph or Khalifa. And he was a last Khalifa after Prophet Muhammad, successor, who ruled according to Islam and according to Quran and Sunnah. And but Hassan, so there is a still war, and that war can kill thousands of Muslims, even hundreds of thousands of Muslims. So he make the treaty with Umayyah that I give you the Khilaf rule, I will step down, and when you step down, I will take over again. And one of the writing in the treaty that his father will not be given bad words, as it was the attitude of the Bani Umayyah, speaking bad words against Ali. Ali is a great companion and belongs to the family of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Prophet loved him very much. He even said that the Prophet said, only the people who love Ali, the believers, and only the people who hate Ali are the hypocrites, the munafiq. So it is how much big word Prophet said about Ali, that only the believers will love Ali and only the hypocrites will hate Ali. And even the Sahaba said, we used to see among us who are the hypocrites. If we found people who hate Ali, then we can get the sign of the hypocrites. That's why they hate Ali. When Prophet loved Ali, Allah loved Ali, and Prophet loved Ali, everybody should love Ali. He was a great companion, the strongest, the most powerful companion, who doesn't fear anyone. Even the Prophet given him the name Asadullah, the lion of Allah. And he has the best of the sword, Prophet given him, Zulfikar. And the Prophet said, there is no young man, brave man like Ali. No one. And there is no sword like Zulfikar. And there was occasion when Muawiyah was commanding to Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, who conquered the Persia. And he was telling to Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, he's commanding him and telling him, what stops you to curse Ali? Why are you not cursing Ali? And the Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas said, no, what I heard from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the three things he told this, that if one of these is with me, it's better than me for everything. And what are these three things? He said when the Prophet was going to the battle of Tabuk, he left Ali with the people in Medina, with the women and children. He said, Ali said, why you leave me with women and children? Why you don't bring me in the war? And then the Prophet said, are you not happy that your example is like Musa and Harun? Like Prophet is Musa, and he's like Harun, the brother of Musa, who was also Prophet. And the Prophet said, only the exclusivity that there is no Prophet after me. So you are not the Prophet, but your example to me is like Musa and Harun. That I am Musa and you are like Harun, the brother of Musa, who are both prophets. So Ali is not Prophet, but his standard is Allah, Prophet of Allah. He gave him the honor like Harun, like the Prophet Harun. So it is a great honor. And then the second thing, the Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas told to Muawiyah, when Muawiyah wanted him to curse Ali, the second thing he said, when the battle of Khaybar, we want to conquer the Khaybar and then no one can do it. Many commanders tried. Finally, the Prophet said that night, tomorrow I will give the standard to the person who loved Allah and His Messenger, and Allah and His Messenger love him also. In the morning, the standard was given to Ali. He went to the battle, the castle of Khaybar, the Jewish castle. He destroyed the gate and he entered with the army and conquered it. And the third thing, when Prophet was making debate with a Christian priest, a group of Christian priests, and they did not accept the truth that there is only one God, and the Prophet Muhammad is the last messenger of Allah. And the Prophet gave challenge to them that we go to the open place with your family and my family, and we will curse of Allah upon the liars. So in the morning, the Prophet go with his family, and he said, this is my family, Ali, wife Fatima, and then his grandson Hassan Hussein. And he said, Allah, this is my family. So it is a great honor that the debate which mentioned in the Quran, the Prophet challenged the group of the priests, and they backed out. They never come to join that challenge of Prophet Muhammad. And he was telling to Allah, Allah, you witness, that's my family. I brought them here. So the Prophet also loved his grandson very much. So when the treaty was happened and Muawiyah became the caliph, the ruler, soon after some years, the Hassan was poisoned. And of course, the doubt can go to the ruler because he was supposed to give the rule to Hassan. And Hassan was poisoned by the conspiracy. Then automatically, he is making the space for his son Yazid, who was not eligible, who was drunk, who let animals to fight, and he watched this. Gambling and injustice and corruption. And then the worst thing is monarchy, that the father wants to give his throne to his son through the lineage. It is prohibited in Islam. And then soon after, the Muawiyah before died, he really did what was against the treaty. He took the rule to his son Yazid, the curse of Allah upon Yazid. When he took over, he started to force everyone to make bay'ah, to pledge. Hussein backed out, Abdullah bin Umar backed out, Abdullah bin Zubair backed out. The great Sahaba, they backed out. They did not want to give pledge to Yazid. Until the time the Yazid started to send army to force everyone to bay'ah. Hussein with his family, he migrated from Medina to Makkah to live there, and then people from the Kufa, the Iraq, they started to send letters that come here and take over. We want to join you in the army to make revolution, to step down to Yazid because he's unjust. And injustice is not allowed in Islam. So Hussein, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, he going with his family, with his friends, 72 of them. They were blocked at Karbala. Like tomorrow is the 8th of Muharram, 8, 9, 10. 3 days they camped there. Water was stopped to them. The food was finished. And they were forced to them to make bay'ah to Yazid. And the only one word of Hussein, okay, I accept Yazid is the ruler, Khalifa or whatsoever, then he can save his life and life of his family. But he doesn't want to surrender to injustice, rather to give life. He doesn't want to surrender something against the command of Allah, against the religion of Allah, and against to the way of the Prophet. So he chose to fought against them, even though they were 72, and then the opponents were 30,000 army. And this 72 was included the women and children. At the night he extinguished all the lamps, and he said, whoever want to leave me can leave in darkness. No one can see you, then you can save your lives. It's me, I will going to face them. But nobody left him. Everybody want to die with him. So next morning when the battle started, one by one, his nephews and his sons and his brothers and his friends and relatives, nephews, cousins, everybody is going to the battlefield fighting these thousands of army, and one by one they were slaughtered. And they were not drinking water for 3 days. And then the Abbas, the half-brother of Hussein, he went to Euphrates River to get water, but he doesn't want to drink. He wants to bring first to the women and children. So when he was coming back to give water to the family, these bad people, the evil people, they stopped him, and he fought with them. He killed many of them. Then finally they cut his arm, so he hold the water skin on the left arm. And they cut his left arm, he hold the water skin in the mouth, and he's still riding the horse, going towards the camps to give water to the children and women who were thirsty for 3 days. Then finally they shoot the arrow in the water skin, and then water was filled, and he was martyred, Abbas, the brother of Hussein, half-brother. And then finally the Hussein, he brought his son Ali Asghar. He brought and he showed to the people that you are evil people. This one cannot fight with you. He is only 6 months old. Please give him water at least. He cannot bear anymore because he's not drinking water for 3 days. No milk because milk was dried up. So what they did, the one of the evil army, he shoot the arrow to the neck of the Ali Asghar, and Ali Asghar was also martyred. And before that, his son Ali Akbar who was same look like Prophet Muhammad, also martyred. And then finally, the Prophet's grandson Hussein, he went to the battlefield and he fought with them. He killed hundreds of them, and he was also martyred with 100 wounds on his body, more than 100 wounds on his body. And finally, they beheaded him and other believers. They brought the heads to the Ibn Ziyad, in governor of Kufa, and they ran the horses on the bodies of the martyrs. And all the women, they were captured and chained and looted everything they get from them, the valuables, and removed their veil. And all the women, including the one son of Hussein, the Zainul Abidin, they brought first to the Ibn Ziyad, the governor of Kufa appointed by Yazid, and they bring them all the way walking 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers, more than 1,000 miles. And they brought them in front of Yazid, the head and the woman and the son of the Imam Hussein. And they cursed them. The sister of Hussein, the Zainab, she cursed them. And during that time, the Yazid also started to send the army to Medina to kill the believers there, the Sahaba there, and women, the rape the women of Medina, the companions, Sahabiyat also. And then bloodshed in Medina. Then he sent the army to Makkah to throw the stones on Kaaba, and then he want people to also to accept him as ruler, king. And then during that time, Allah cursed upon Yazid. He got the disease when he drink water, but his thirst is not quenched. And his stomach was bloated, like going to explode. And then Allah killed him in that bad disease, and he was go to hellfire. So we get a big lesson that never to accept the injustice, never to accept the wrong, and always stand for the truth, and always stand for the right. Even the Nelson Mandela, the South African revolution leader, he fought against British Army for injustice for 25 years, and one day he wanted to surrender in the jail in Robben Island. And then when he remembered the story of the Hussein, that all his family he gave up in the way of Allah, he never surrendered to injustice. So he did not surrender. The Nelson Mandela, he fought against the British for his rights of his people, and finally he was able to get freedom from British, and he became the president of South Africa. So even the non-Muslim get the lesson from the sacrifice of grandson of Prophet Muhammad and the family of Prophet Muhammad. So it's a great honor for us also, inshallah, that those 3 days when the family of the Prophet Muhammad was hungry and thirsty for the sake of Allah, for sacrifice for the religion of Allah. So we are going to do the same imitation, that we are going to fast for 3 days tomorrow until Monday for 3 days fasting, to copy them, that they did this for Allah, to have a hunger and thirst. We do the same thing, hunger and thirst for the sake of Allah. May Allah please with us for doing for us. Every day we have a 3 fasting, so we choose to make 3 fasting on 8, 9, and 10, inshallah. So may Allah guide us, may Allah forgive us.
Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment.